Welcome back. There's a lot of questions when you become a mother, especially when it comes to breastfeeding.
That's right. Here with some how-tos on the topic is Fran Mosey, a lactation consultant at Sanford Medical Center. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a big deal. There's always a lot of talk, a lot of mothers are wondering, should I or shouldn't I? And it's a good thing, I think.
It is a good thing,
yeah.
And it is good for them to wonder.
Yeah.
And we'd like to be the people that can help them make that decision by giving them, some of the reasons that they should maybe breastfeed their babies.
And what are some of those reasons?
Well, we know that it's the healthiest food for babies, human milk for a human baby, that it really, children that get breast milk are ill less. They have less upper respiratory illnesses, diarrhea. There's really good research now on brain growth with breast milk, so it really is just optimal health for the baby.
So what are some of the biggest objections you hear from moms as to why they don't want to do it?
Well, I think a lot of it, when we look at that, is kind of their comfort level. They say a lot of people make choices about how they're going to feed their baby, about what they're most comfortable with. And since breastfeeding hasn't been the most common thing that has been, in our culture, they sometimes choose formula because that's what they feel they hear most about in advertising. So we're trying to change that by educating a lot more people. Lactation consultants are more available. The WIC staff are trained in breastfeeding, public health nurses too. So we're trying to get the word out and make breastfeeding more comfortable as a choice for parents.
At the same time too, even though there's a big push toward it, everyone has to make their own decision, right? And some people don't have as much milk as others.
That's right, and that's a very important part of what I do for my job as a lactation consultant. There is a segment of the population that, for whatever reason, there's different reasons that they might not produce enough milk. And so that's where we can get involved and help them kind of look through their histories and figure out what that problem is. And also maybe help them get to the point where they understand maybe they don't make enough, but they can still give any milk for their baby. Any breast milk that they get is good for the baby.
Okay.
Are there things that you can do to help them create more, or is it just, hey, this is how your body works and that's it? Or
there are a lot of ways that you can help them get more milk, and so that's one of the things. The more frequently that you feed your baby, we can use electric breast pumps, but the most important thing is getting off to a good start, feeding the baby on demand. That's like the key to the whole process.
And there's a lot of stress too right after you give birth. If you want to and you can't, and the baby's hungry, and it's okay to supplement a little bit in the beginning, isn't it? And while you both work up to it?
Well, sometimes. One of the things that we do know is that supplementing formula can also cause a decrease in milk supplies. So what we try to do is really help them understand how the process works, and then find those supportive people around them to help them. Dads, they make a huge, important impact in supporting their partners to be able to get as much rest as they can and feed their babies. So there are instances where we do use formula, but most of the time trying to help mom work through it is probably our best bet.
Drinking a lot of water too, isn't that another way? I mean, you just have to keep the intake coming into your body, otherwise you won't have enough to produce?
Well, the studies haven't actually shown that helps a lot.
Maybe that was in my own little world.
But it is important. It's important for you to stay hydrated. Our body's made up of a lot of water, and so in order to make milk, we do have to have that hydration. And yes, moms are typically very hungry while they're breastfeeding because they're burning calories. That's like one of the benefits to mom. And so it's very important, and that's another place where the partners and dads and grandmas can help mom by cooking for her and things like that, so she does stay hydrated and get food.
what do you do to help new moms kind of overcome the unknown? I know for my wife, it was like, obviously she'd never done that before, so there's a lot of trepidation about, am I doing this right? I don't know what I'm doing. It's not happening right away. So how do you coach them through that?
Well, I think we start with, we offer classes. All of us offer classes to kind of help them understand how the process actually works. We've got a lot of resources. I brought a book along today that is fabulous in teaching, or for moms to be able to look at and read and understand how this process works. I think that's a big part of it. It really is.
I remember being stressed out too, coming home after giving birth and trying to breastfeed and it not working out. And then hearing, oh, your son isn't gaining as much weight as he should, you might need to start supplementing. And if you're so focused on breastfeeding, it's hard to hear that.
It is, and sometimes that causes tears. I see that in my office. not on an often time, but sometimes. So we try to work through that, and then again give them the tools that they can to increase that milk supply, and say this may be a short-term fix that we need to do, and hopefully we can get your milk supply up so that you don't need to do it very long.
What are your thoughts on putting it in the fridge, freezing it? Good?
Oh, good, very good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome. I mean, that we have the available pumps today to be able to have milk for moms that go back to work. And breast milk is very stable, so being able to keep it in the refrigerator and freeze it and use it, it's very good.
Oh, yeah. Okay, much more on this topic when we come back.